Welcome to Grace Over Grit and Grow, the podcast where we empower women to be who they are gracefully while being unapologetic.
Hello there, I am Monique Fisher.
And I'm Alita Anderson.
And welcome to Grace Over Grit and Growth. And today we're going to talking about
the kids/adults.
Yeah, raising them to be with grace and releasing them with purpose.
Yep.
Go be all you can be.
Is that the army?
It
is the army.
Okay, well, I don't mean the army.
I
wouldn't do that.
The army.
Yeah, be all you can be. That's a good tagline.
It is.
Yeah, no.
It's still not appealing, but it's
no, I'm not, and I'm definitely not talking about the armed forces. I'm not saying release them there. I just mean go with your purpose, be all you can do.
Oh goodness, yes. So yeah, we've been talking about that. It's come up with me a lot in circles right now because I have a graduate and one that graduated last year, so still trying to figure that piece of it out, but trying to decide what that next thing looks like.
Yeah.
Excited for them to be a little more independent, but then also nervous, like, can you handle the independence? What does that look like? So it's been interesting for me to talk to other parents and people and just get to see other people do things, because I think it's always interesting to see people's perspective on some things, because it's not always stuff that I would do or I've even thought about doing sometimes.
Well, the first thing is it doesn't start at 16, 17.
That's very true.
It starts much earlier than that, right? And I think middle school is kind of the ground area, the age where they really, they're 12 and 13, 11, 12 and 13. That's the time when they really need to start having more and more responsibility.
Yeah.
And understanding their role in the family. Personally, you got a cell phone when you went to 6th grade, but that came with responsibility too. So you had to do your own laundry. So I haven't done laundry for my young men since 6th grade.
Yeah, no, my kids do the laundry too. And I'm still like biting my tongue because I hate how they do laundry. But then again, I'm like, it's your clothes.
It's your clothes.
And I just feel like you make it so much more difficult than it needs to be. So I'm like, why did you do it? And also I'm like, if you did it this way, you could do this and be done. Right.
But you give that advice and you let it go.
Yep.
And let them figure it out for themselves.
Exactly.
And that's why I said it starts at that age. That's part of what it is to preparing them to be an adult. Now they're going to look back on it and say, you know what Mama said.
Right.
And she sure was right. But right now they ain't going to let you believe you right. So they're going to keep doing it the way they're doing it. Yeah.
Okay. Such is life.
But I think that's big too, Alita. Showing that they're contributing in the house. You're not just helping.
Yeah.
When I tell you to clean up or do this, you're not helping. You live here.
Well, one of the things,
contributing.
Not only that, like even with their rooms, like I'll be like, clean your rooms, and they straighten. It's not a clean.
Yeah.
And I'm like, your room is not clean. I'm like, my room is clean. My bed is made. I put my clothes on. Like, did you vacuum? Did you dust? Did you go through put the garbage could be taken out too? It's not like, oh my God, like that's not clean. You straighten. I say clean. You need to vacuum. You need to move some stuff. You have to move stuff to vacuum. You need to dust, pick some stuff up, do those things. And they're like, oh. And I laugh because I remember them talking about, well, I don't understand why my room being a mess bothers you. And I still since then I was like, because you know what? At some point, you're going to leave my house. You're going to live somewhere. And somebody's going to say, outrage is a trifling human. So it does reflect on me. Although you're right. I don't come into your junky room because I have my own space. But I want to know that you're able to do it. Because if you don't, that's a reflection on me that nobody taught you. So the fact that you didn't do it, okay, but you are going to do it while you're here. And I'm hoping that becomes a habit. Because somebody's going to be looking at you crazy and then being like, who raised this person? Where did you come from?
Who her mom?
Yeah.
Who her people?
Exactly. I'm like, so no, it does.
Yeah. That's like when they do the kitchen, they do the dishes. And you like, well, what about the stove? What about the countertops?
The microwave.
Well, microwave. Could we sweep the floor? This is all the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's not just
an explanation. I'm like, you can't just do that. Or now I'm like, don't leave dishes in the sink.
Yeah.
I'm like, so if you have a dish, wash it. but it's one dish. Yeah. But then if you leave a dish in the sink, somebody else gonna come leave a dish in the sink. Then it's a sink full of dishes. Wash your stuff.
Right.
I don't want to see dishes in the sink. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then sweeping. Like I'm like, well, what constitutes, because like my kitchen and family room touch. So I'm like, so you're just gonna sweep up until like right here? Like, no, sweep the whole thing. I'm like, what?
You said the kitchen?
Yeah, that's not the kitchen.
Family room.
So you're just gonna sleep right here, or if you see something, pick it up.
There's a line.
Yeah, it's like a
line. They go to the line.
And how much effort is it gonna take for you to do that? Just go over and do that piece. It doesn't take that long. Like the time we talked about, it could have been done. So just do it. And my hope is always that, like, if I say it enough, you'll just be like, oh, I just don't want to hear her talking, so you do it. But that doesn't seem to work. For me, I'll be like, let me just do it so I don't have to talk to her.
Oh my God, we are the same people. When I was living at home, I used to just do what I need, because I'm like, I don't want to hear my mother fussing. I don't want to hear it. So let me get it done, have it done, and we can move on. You know?
Yeah.
But so those are like basic needs things, right? Can you do laundry? Can you clean up? Then there's an emotional piece of it too, making sure that they're able to deal with things, you know. Mom, I left my book at home or something like that, and that be how am I going to live? You got to go get it. You got to bring it.
We nipped that one in the bud early too.
So, you know.
That was an explanation. So my thing is your lack of responsibility or your urgency you're not creating urgency for me because you didn't do something.
Right.
No. So when they used to leave stuff, I'll be like, I'm going to fail. Then next time you'll probably remember it. So what happens if I fail? I'm like, then you're going to probably have to take this class again. I don't know. But this one thing is not going to end your life.
Right.
So if anything, it's going to make you remember it. So no, I'm not coming back to do it. Or even when I would be working from home, they would be like, well, you're at home, but I'm still working. So no, I'm not doing it.
Right.
You'll get it when you come home. If it was that important, you wouldn't have left it. So now they know, don't call me with that. Bryce will just be like, whatever. He just let it ride. He don't want to hear it. He'll be like, it didn't really matter. I'll figure it out. Kennedy she won't call me. She'll call T, because she'll know he'll probably be in there or do something.
But that's teaching them that, you know, you need to be responsible for you. And if you were to take everything to them every time they forgot something. So now when you're in the real world, you're expecting somebody to understand your story.
Which is a pet peeve of mine.
Right.
Like, oh my God, you don't understand.
You don't understand
what I did today. Like, just because you had a lot of
Right.
stuff, just because I'm not expressing I had a lot of stuff before this day started or before this meeting, doesn't mean I didn't. It just means I handled it. So your story is okay.
It means nothing to me.
No.
So people that are chronically late, they always got a story. Got something to tell you. You know, I'm late because nobody cares.
Right.
So that's part of teaching them how to.
And I see it play out across the things, because it's funny because they'll, like, for instance, like with both of them in sports and in different activities that they're in. Like a lot of times we have to travel. So I'll be like, okay, so we need to leave the house by this time. So that means we need to be in the car and we need to be going wherever we need to be going. Let's say it's 7:30. Okay, so that means that if you had an idea that you wanted breakfast, that has to be prior to that, because you need to be in the car at this time.
Right.
So 7:30 is our leave time. You can't come downstairs trying to eat at 7:30 unless you're grabbing something to eat in the car, an apple, a banana, something like that. We're not waiting. We're not waiting, because now I'm ripping and running all day because you're late. No, we've said this. Packing snacks. So that was one of our big things. Like, we have all these snacks and stuff at home, but because you didn't want to pack them in your bag, you want to get to this place, you want me to pay $5 for water and $6 for a protein bar. We have 84 of them because we got grab some stuff.
We bought 80 of them for $6. They won't
right. I'm like, no, pack your stuff and be ready, for that. But it's funny because I'll see some of the other parents and they're like, oh my God, like, I'm running to get this. What are you gonna do? Are they gonna have Gatorade? I'm like, oh, they packed their Gatorade. Or like, they're like, oh, I gotta run up here and do that. I'm just like, okay, no.
I'm not running ragged for you. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'll help, but some stuff. My help is I've paid for this whole thing.
I paid for this extracurricular activity
for you to get to it. Now, when they got to that day, I still got to pay to get in to watch you play whatever I paid for, or dance, or whatever you're doing. So no, you can at least be responsible enough to show that it's doing something other than you just having a good time and that's it.
Right. And it's those lessons that really matter with, them actually, they don't even realize it, that they're able to do things. And it's because you've done those things with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like step by step, because I remember, like, because Kennedy's been in dance since she was 3. So when she was younger, of course, I'm packing this. I'm like, okay, you have all this. But as she get like the last 4 or 5 years, it's like, okay, you got a competition. Okay, you got 3 dances.
Get your stuff together.
Okay, you have everything you need to get. Okay, cool. I'm not checking and double checking. Like, you know what you need to have. And even with some of the coaches, most of the coaches, they communicate with us about high level things, but like the things they need to have or things change.
Right. They're telling them
directly.
Yeah, so you got to know and you're responsible. Yeah, I remember band. So that was a big thing. And so now with Chris and his gigs, he has all that stuff. He keeps everything prepped and propped at the door. Now my living room look crazy, but everything is lined up. So when he has his next gig, he does it the night before. So it's just, so those are habits that he created, from starting from middle school and high school, prepping your clothes, having things ready. Because in the morning you may wake up a little bit more groggy, or you stayed up late because you had extra homework. So if you got everything prepared, it's just a regular routine that you can do and get out. Easier. You can make it. I remember one time, I don't know, I think I shared this before. I think Chris was in 7th or 8th grade. No. Yeah. No, he was in high school, because I took him at 7th. He was in high school. I think he was a sophomore or junior. He missed the bus because he was looking for his shoes. I said, if you had everything laid out. So he didn't want to hear, so he ran out. I didn't know he missed the bus. He walked to school.
Oh, wow.
I got a tardy call saying Chris is not here. I was like, no, he was on the bus. They was like, no, Miss Fisher, he wasn't on the bus. So now I done jumped in the car. I'm like, Lord Jesus, my child had left. But girl, I saw him entering on in. He walked to school. I just kept on driving. Like, okay, it works. But he knew not to come back and say anything to me. So he figured it out though.
That is funny, because that's one of the things I always tell kids. They'd be like, and this, and I'll be like, okay, so what are you going to do? Be like, I don't know. That's what I'm telling you. I'll be like, well, figure it out. Like, what's happened? Or they would be trying to cook something or do, stuff that they need to figure out. Like, I've told them over and over, but they don't listen. So now they're trying to figure it out. And they're like, hey, Mom. I'm like, we had this discussion. Figure it out. So it used to make my mother-in-law nervous. She would be like, what are you doing? So now she'd be like, what you tell? She's like, I tell them. She always tell her kids, figure it out. She was like, I'd be like, what? I'd be like, oh, I don't know. They'll figure it out. She's like, what? Yeah, I'm like, they'll figure it out. And if they don't, and it's funny because if one doesn't know, then they'll ask the other. And between the two of them,
they got it.
They figure it out. They figure it out, or they decide it's not that serious and they just go into something else. But something happens.
Right. Yeah. So that's working through problem solving. How do you get to the next thing? The other thing we need to teach kids too is critical thinking, and I think that's what's missing a lot today. What happens? Yes. What are consequences of things? Can we just stop for a minute and say, if you do X, Y, Z, what are the results of it?
Yes.
Versus if you don't, what will the results be?
Right. Because I think people pause because they feel as if they don't do anything, then there's not a consequence to it. But there is also, and not addressing, not responding, not following through. Like, oh, okay, if I don't, like, it's going to magically go away or something's going to resolve itself. And that's not the case. So people are very nervous or apprehensive about confrontation. And I don't mean like the in your face type of confrontation but just when things don't work out, okay, I'm going to have to pivot. And the other thing is people are so worried about other people.
What they think.
Yeah. So when they're making that decision process, I think people get paralyzed by fear of, oh my God, I said, and I'm laughing because I'm thinking of Bryce, because Bryce is doing HVAC. So he didn't go to college right after high school. So I don't remember who was. Somebody was like, oh, well, that's good. You don't have to feel bad. He said, I don't feel bad. He was like, I'm doing what I wanted to do. Why would I feel bad? He's like, well, I know all your friends are going to school. He was like, because that's what they wanted to do. Right. He's like, oh, okay. And I just laughed because
that's self-confidence.
He was like, what do I care what they do? And that has nothing to do with me.
Right.
But it made me think about that sometimes people do make decisions because that's what everybody else is doing, or that's what I feel like I should be doing. I really want to do something different, but I need to go to the realm of what everyone else is doing.
I remember having those conversations with Kyle. Kyle did not particularly care for school, and so he was like, I'll go to junior college. I really don't want to go to a big university. I'm like, okay, it's okay. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people who will put out there, I know you're going, where you going to college? Where you going to a 4-year university? What you doing? Where you going? And he was like, I'm not. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to JJC, mm-hmm. figure something out there, and then get a job. I'm ready to work. Okay. Yeah. Those are your choices. Right. But he has the self-confidence too. And you're not finna act like you intimidate me because I didn't go to a university. Right. That's not for everybody. No. Yeah. And as much as college costs.
Oh, it's definitely not something you just want to test.
Exactly.
Let me just see.
So I appreciate you telling me up front.
And that's what I told him. This is not my
thing.
Yes.
I don't have to spend thousands of dollars to try to help you go to college. College is probably $100,000 for 4 years. Easy. That's a lot of money to, like you said, to be testing out that first year, $25,000 for what? So that's building self-confidence in your children. Be secure in your decisions, but we had that talk too. Yeah. What does that look like? And what does that mean? Mm-hmm. So.
And then just understanding too, some of the stuff, and I caught myself doing it. Some of the things you do just because you get in the habit of doing it. And then you realize, oh, you have never done this because I always do it, like with doctor's appointments and stuff like that. Yes. Like I said, the doctor's and dentist appointment. And we were talking about something, and I think it was Kendi was like, how often do we go to the doctor? And I'm like, go to the dentist. And I was like, like every 3 months. And then we do, I said, or every quarter you go. And she was like, oh. Okay. And she said, and this and something else she had asked, and I'm like, you just do it and the appointments are kind of set, but I've never really sat and explained like why or what we do, whatever. So I'm like, I guess you really wouldn't know that because you just go like, oh, you got
this is part of our routine. Yeah. Mama said we got to go to the doctor, we go to the dentist. We got to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I have never really talked that through to say why and what are you doing. So I'm like, So just small things.
Yeah, it's the small things that you do with them too. And finances. I think finances is big. So understanding the responsibility of, having a credit card. I remember Kyle wanted to get he bought his own car, didn't need assistance, but we had to build credit. And I talked to him about that. I said, you got to get a credit card. And then I need you just Kohl's across the street. Go buy your pair of pants, pay it off. Yeah. Do something. Then get you like a Visa or a MasterCard. Get that and start slowly put your gas on there maybe, and then but pay it off. When I said we're gonna do that for about a year, let's build you up some credit history, get you a savings account. So, but now that you guide them through, yes, right. So then when he was able to go get his car, he was able to get his car on his own. He didn't need co-signing or anything from him or his dad, from me or his dad. And now he manages his little money effectively. So. But you do have to teach. Yes. You have to talk about it because they don't know. It just doesn't. I got my first credit card in college.
Me too.
And I was, girl, you couldn't tell me nothing.
I had not a roommate, but a suite mate, and as you said, they had those things where you sign up for the credit cards. And I remember, I think it was around tax time or something. Anyhow, she got this credit card and she charged a car. It was a used car, but it's a credit card.
Oh, she was like, my limit was like $500.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't like a $20,000 car, but it was a used car. But still, I was like, "You live on your credit?" I was like, "I didn't even know you could do that." I was like, "Oh," and I remember I was telling mom, she was like, "Don't you go down there trying to crash? Don't cry." I'm like, "I'm not." I was like, but I was so fascinated. Like, I didn't even know you could do that. I'm like, okay. So you can get a little carried away. And back then, it was like, credit card offers all over the place in college. Yeah. There were so many.
Yes. It wasn't a big limit, but it was enough for you to get started. Right. And I've kind of figured that out. My mother didn't have a credit card until I helped her get one. She was like, I don't have no credit cards. Right. We'll be in debt with that, because They were so fiscally responsible.
Yes.
You know, they got their house. They had to pay their house off. If they had a car, they had to pay their car off, and the regular bills in the house and groceries.
Yep.
It wasn't a lot of extra.
No.
Look, McDonald's money, as you say. we didn't do all. We didn't do all of that. So it was a set budget for the month, and that was it.
But even that alone, budgeting. Like when I
That's true.
I'm like,
budgeting.
We were talking about what was it? Five Guys. So we were talking about Five Guys, and they had some special, and it was like, oh, buy one get one free, and I was like, oh, okay, well y'all can get burgers or whatever. So then I ran up, and the lady was like 16 something. I was like, no, I just got one burger, and she was like, yeah, but you added cheese and something else. And I was like, so is it two burgers or one? She's like, no, this is just one burger, but you get the second one for free. And I'm like, do I though?
One burger was $16.
It was like, yeah, it was like 15 something, like 16. I said, oh no.
At a fast food place.
Yes. And so, so I was like, what? So Kenny's like, oh my God, you're so embarrassing. Like, why are you debating the price of a burger? And I was like, no, because I had never been there. I don't eat burgers, first of all, so I don't go there. So I'm like, wait a minute. Is this right? This seems crazy to me.
And I thought at Five Guys, you got a lot of stuff on it at first, but not cheese.
No. So when we did get the burger, whatever the special was, because I don't know what the day was, but it was you just buy it wasn't just a regular burger, it was a double burger.
Oh,
so it was like the two patties. Because she just said it was like the buy one get one free. So I assumed it was just a regular burger. And I was just like, what in the world? But still,
we had no French fries and nothing.
No, just a burger. We had no fries and nothing.
French fries.
So we got those. And then I was explaining to her when she was talking about it, and I was like, do you know you can get a pack of ground beef? You can make this. And she was just like, Mom, really? I was like, yeah. So think about it. How many burgers could you get for that set? I was like, no, it's just. But I do explain that to them sometimes when we're talking about like portions, like we're at the grocery store because. What class? Bryce was like, they showed us, I think he said it was his economics class, some class. He's like, they taught us about this, but I didn't think people really did this in real life. I said, I do it all the time at the grocery store. Now, you know how you'll see something and it'll be like, let's say Pops in general. Like they'll do like a 12 pack of Pop and it'll be $6, but then they'll be like the 24 pack is $8 or something like that. So I'll divide it out and be like, okay, so that's like 33 cents a pop. So this is actually a better deal. Because you see the numbers, you'd be like 6 is less than 8, but then I'm getting so you think just gravitate to the number. That's not always a thing. So I'm always fascinated. So I'll be like divide it out and be like, okay, so that's actually like 33 cents for this. Or if I buy more of these, it's actually cheaper. And you're like, who does that? I'm like, I don't do it with everything. But some stuff I'm looking at like, wait, is this actually a deal or not? It's because they just slapped a sale sign on it.
They do.
And you feel like it's a deal, but it's not always.
Yes.
So when I can't figure it out just off the top of my mind, I'll just divide it really fast. And they're like, really?
Somebody just posted on Facebook. It was something that was $1.79 or 2 for $4. And she was like, how's the 2 for $4 a better deal? If it's $1.79 each.
Exactly.
You know, so you're right. They do that.
You'd be like, oh, I get 2. But like,
yeah. George was mad at me we had a ham for Easter. We went to the store and, get the pineapples. Yeah. Usually I put the little pineapple rings on there. Where they were out of the ones that was 2 for $3. So I bought pineapple chunks. So he said, how you going to put the chunks on the ham? I said, I really don't care. It's really about the juice, right? I just make the rings to make it pretty.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get the 2 for $4 rings. I'm not paying an extra $1 for the 2 cans.
Right.
Just so I can have a circle.
Yeah.
We were standing in Jewel having a deep conversation. He's like, I cannot believe you. He said, it's just $1. I said, it's just the principle of the thing.
It is the principle.
We want the pineapple juice. So we're going to do the chunks.
I agree.
And that was it. So I got the 2 for $3. And he just like, I said, yes, I know. If you were by yourself, you would have bought the ring.
And that's the thing. We get programmed to doing what we always do. And I feel like they know that. So you don't question it.
You don't question, you just do it.
Yeah. Like, do you go different places for gas?
I do.
So I'll be like, oh, well, like, how much was, like, I don't know, someone, I'll be like, T, how much was gas? He'd be like, I don't know. I'm like, What do you mean you don't know? You just
yeah,
pump the gas right? I was like, never in a million years.
I'm that person. Now the Shell down there by 355, the gas is 229.
Yes.
The Shell by this 55 and this is 239. The Shell by us is 259.
And then the gas station by us, I have a rewards card, so it's another 10 cents off per gallon.
Yes.
So I'd be like, so I get 10. He was like 10 cents. I'd be like, yes, I get 10 cents off a gallon. So this is. And then he always laughs because my car never has gas in it. So I'll be like, you ride around trying to find out what's the cheapest. You're going to be pushing it. Then you're going to call me.
You won't forget till you get your 10% out till you build back up your 10%.
So then I'll be like, and so he'll put gas in my car. And I'm like, which one did you go? Don't worry about it. I'll put the gas in the car. I'm like, no, you got to go where the gas is cheaper. And he's just like, you need gas. Like, cut it out.
Yeah, Jewel used to have a program. By the more groceries you buy, it would add
Really?
up. Yes, and it was with Shell. So it would start off at a nickel, then it'd be 10. So sometimes I had 30, 45 cents off per gallon of gas.
Oh, wow.
And George was like, who sits up? I said, as long as you run that car. And don't be using my code on your car. This is strictly for my car. So yeah, I'm one of those people.
It's funny because I pretty much have rewards everywhere.
Yeah.
And the kids know they'll go somewhere to like they'll get my phone number and be like, oh, I went somewhere, I use your phone number. I'm like, hey, I didn't. I just tried it and it worked. Like, really?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, then you have to. You have to.
Yeah. And in my mind, it might not be saving a lot, but in my mind, it's like
it's saving something. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And evidently I've taught Kyle that because George said, Kyle, there's something else in the grocery store. He's like, no, we're not getting that. That's too. Look at this. Like you just said, he's like, look, let's note this the better buy. George is like, George is just grabbing. I'm in the grocery store. I got a list. I'm ready to get
this
out.
Stuff and get out. Mm-hmm.
No, I got to shop. And the other thing that people don't do, I know we kind of off topic, but the other thing people don't do is look at expiration dates.
Oh, no,
you have got to look at the expiration dates.
Yes. I did. Okay, so this is a parenting thing because we don't really drink milk in my house. Yeah, like nobody has. So if I have milk, I have almond milk. I don't have so sometimes Bryce will use it with cereal, whatever. But we just do not drink milk. So there's never really a check the expiration date milk. Right. What almond milk is like by the time it expires, it's gone because it's such a longer expiration date. I don't remember what it was. We had milk for whatever. And Bryce he had poured it or something. And I was like, that milk ain't no good. I can smell it. And he was like, yeah, something weird. I said, did you check the expiration date? And he was like, what? I said, the expiration date. He was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you can't drink it. He was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I was like, the stamp on the side. He said, I've never looked at that. I'm like, why have you never looked at it? He said, why don't we have old food at the house? I was like, not on purpose, but if it gets it, like I don't drink it, somebody and it's here. I said, like, we typically don't. You probably has been a while since you even ran into it. I said, but sometimes maybe I use it for cooking. It's just a little bit. I don't know. I said, but you should always check the expiration date. So I'm going thinking, he was just like, oh, okay. And I was just like, I guess that's something we never talked about. But I was just like, I remember growing up, that was one of the things at the grocery store. You be checking dates and oh my gosh. So I was just like,
check dates, prices.
The eggs, open
the eggs, look at the eggs.
I was
make sure they not
one of my
cracked.
girlfriends with their kids. She was like, I don't know how to send them to the grocery store. And they came home, they had a dozen of eggs, or maybe it was like 18, but it was a pack of eggs. She was like, 3 of them cracked. And I was like, did they crack? And she was like, they said they don't know. And I said, what do you mean? She said, I said, well, they cracked at the grocery store. That's what I asked them. She said, they didn't look at them. I was like, oh. She's like, I told you always look at your eggs. I was like, yeah, like, why wouldn't y'all look at the eggs? But it's some of those things that you do out of habit that you have not necessarily expressed to them. Communicate that.
Communicate that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things too, being able to communicate well. Teaching your kids how to effectively communicate. And then also communicate and then respectfully, how there's different ways that you talk to different people. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not your little friend thing. Like, you're not gonna say it's a miss, the misters, yes ma'am, no ma'am, those types of things for different people. Yeah. I think we've lost a lot of that. We have. Yeah, you don't have to call me ma'am. I don't know.
And it's so funny because people will be like, oh ma'am. And it's always like they say like you're in distress. Oh ma'am. Like, and I'm like, first of all, where do you get the ma'am from? But but at the same time, like Miss whatever. Okay, cool.
But yeah, so we go Miss Alita or Miss Monique. Mm-hmm. we may not, but we were formal. We used to do last names, like Mrs. Anderson, Mrs. Fisher. Yeah. When I first started work, I started a corporate career. I was 20. And when I went in, everybody was so much older than me, and I was Mr. This, Mr. That, and they was like, just say our first name. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that because that's not how we were raised. You were very respectful. So yeah, but we do have to teach them how to communicate, to talk about, be advocates for themselves, and that definitely starts in that high school.
Oh yeah,
with counselors and teachers and making sure you speak up for yourself and teaching them how to do that effectively. That's a big part of them.
Yes. And then you have to learn their personalities too, because it's funny because stuff I'll be like, no, you should let them know this. And like Bryce will be like, I mean, why? I'm never gonna see this person again. I don't care what they think. And I'm like, that's not the point. Like, you need to know. And I'm like, okay, that's not really his thing, so I gotta let it go. But the same way so that they can communicate in their style that matches their personality. So that's one thing too, is learning your kids' personalities.
It is.
Because what's comfortable for you may be uncomfortable for them.
Very.
And vice versa.
Yes. Yes, Christopher is not confrontational. He's not trying to start arguments. He'll speak up and say what he's got to say, but he's not my style. I'm like, and you get in there and you tell
exactly.
them, and then you tell them why. And if they ain't got a problem with it, you tell them to call me. And he's like, how did we get here?
Yes, it's not that serious, Mom.
But then Kyle will get you told. He gonna be nice, and then he gonna be like, all right, bottom line, this is it. So he has much more of my spirit. So you're so very right. Then it's work for you as a parent to understand how to work with your children in their, in their personality style.
And advocate for your kids, because I know sometimes, like I know there's different things that don't bother me that Bryce or Kennedy, they'd be like, that's annoying. So sometimes when you're in settings, like I feel like there's some unspoken things like kids have to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm trying to give a good example. Like for instance, fluff conversation. Some people just sit and talk whatever. And I know sometimes they're like, why are we talking about this? What is this about? And sometimes people perceive that as like, you have to engage, you have to, and you don't have to engage with people.
Right.
Like if you want, you can be respectful, but you don't necessarily have to sit and just hold conversations if you don't want to.
Yes.
And if it does, and like, they're not really talking about anything. But it's funny because sometimes I think other people try to put on how they feel kids should act or your kids should act, and also into which might not mesh up to what you actually do in your household. So then it's like, no, we don't really do that. Like for instance, some of the times where some people are like, oh, well, we're going to eat this, but the kids eat that.
Yeah.
Or you don't have a choice, or you can only have this. So then it's like, why are kids eating that? Or what can they do? I'm like, what? We don't do that. Like you can do it. That doesn't mean we have to do it here.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a breakaway from that too, the eating thing. So, we grew up, what I put on the table, that's what you're going to eat or you don't eat. I didn't do that. It was certain things that Chris wouldn't eat or Kyle wouldn't eat. And, and I just believe if they don't like it, why am I making it? Why are you making somebody eat something that they don't want?
And it's like one of the things, Kennedy hates vegetables. Like she eats some, but for the most part, she doesn't like them. But when I was a kid, I didn't really eat a whole lot of vegetables. You know what I ate like every day, probably 2 and 3 times a day? Ham. I was like a ham fanatic. I love pork.
And you don't eat pork now?
No, I eat mostly vegetables. I guess so. It's out of my system. That I used to eat like Twinkies, stuff that I don't even touch now. So I do believe like they're like, oh, because if you don't give it to them now, their whole life they're gonna go up and do this. And I'm like, no, because I know that wouldn't happen for me. Like it was like a phase. Like I did this or whatever.
Right.
So now,
and now you don't.
I don't touch any of it, and I eat healthy. So I'm like, I feel like let them figure it out.
Right.
I'm not saying that they can just
You gonna have to have some water.
Yeah,
some at some point. Right.
You don't have to.
But you
keep
don't
a
have
stream.
to.
But it's not like oh my God, what's going on? Like we gotta figure out what's happening. It's not a crisis. Like,
it's not a crisis. Thank you.
It is a phase, and I know that because I did it. Like what I ate when I was a kid, even teenager, like it's not even the same.
And I used to always say you have to pick your battles.
Yeah.
You can't make everything appear. Because then they definitely not going to listen to you because you're going off on everything. So some stuff as parents too, you have to learn how to just let go. So that they can, that they can figure it out. So
yeah.
Parenting is not easy.
No, and there's no manual. And everybody does it different. And then everybody has different personalities. And you have different personalities in your own home. Like T and I have different personalities. So even though when we talk to the kids, it's different because it's coming from a different perspective. The kids. So it's just funny to watch. You'll be like, oh, I wouldn't have thought that, or I wouldn't have done it that way. But
okay, you did it. You got it done.
Yeah, like,
it works.
Okay,
I'm good.
Yeah. So just figuring out the goal at the end of the day is to have kids that are respectful, that can. I always say, if I'm not here, what would you do?
Exactly.
And I don't want you to be looking in this world like you've been so sheltered and covered that you can't figure it out on your own.
Right.
That you can at least figure out some. I mean, yes, there'll be some things that you do have to figure out, but for the most part, you could survive.
The goal is to have them, prepare them to be able to live life without you being in it every day.
Yeah.
Without you them having to call you for every little thing. Figure it out. Take some time. I'm an advisor or a counselor now. I'm not making decisions for you. I can tell you maybe why I would do something, or why I wouldn't do something, and help you with that. But the decision is yours.
Exactly. And along with that decision are also the consequences.
The consequences.
Those
consequences and repercussions.
All belong to you.
They're yours. All yours. So yeah. So as we're thinking about, because we know Miss Kennedy is graduating from high school and she's moving on to college. She's going to have prom and all of these different decisions, and she has a lot of decisions to make.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah. So we thought of this topic because we know there are a lot of parents and even grandparents out there who are, going through some of this. And the thing is that we as parents have to learn too how to step back a little bit sometimes. If we've raised them, if we know we've done our best and we know we poured into them. Now you got some folks that just hands off.
Just like, wait,
they stay
were you raised?
Were you raised? But when you know you've done your best, you've given them advice, you've given them faith, you're giving them foundation. Sometimes we have to step back, and let them be, gain their maturity. And let go with love. We're there when they need us.
Yeah. But you can't always.
But we can't always be there for all the day-to-day things.
Right.
So that's what we wanted to just share with you today, because we know a lot of parents are going through that.
Yep. High school graduations coming up, college graduations coming up, all of the things, wedding season, all the things are happening. So if you guys have any words of wisdom that you'd like to share, feel free to drop them in the comments, DM them, send them to us so that we can share it with the audience as well. And as always, thanks for listening, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.